Good afternoon, everyone. Cheryl Benanti from Reiki Will Travel. So today I'm with my good friend Mary Riley. She is the owner of Foundry 66, the Norwich Community Development Corporation. Welcome, Mary.
Thank you.
Yeah, so happy to have you. And so Mary and I know each other through a networking group called Fresh Connections, where she's the president of it, and I just recently joined thanks to a mutual friend, Stephanie. So I was so grateful for the opportunity to come and join your networking group. So that's how we met. But really, it's a business that you have in Norwich. And tell us about it. Tell us about Fresh Connections. Tell us about your business. What would you like to share about everything?
Sure. So, Foundry 66, I am the owner of all the responsibilities of Foundry 66.
Okay.
We are actually a quasi-governmental nonprofit.
Okay.
That is.
What does that mean?
That means we get the benefits and support of our municipal government without a lot of the red tape.
Perfect.
And so we work together with the municipality on our mutual goals and try to really move our community forward together.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that really
fantastic.
means.
Mm-hmm.
And so Foundry 66 is part of Norwich Community Development Corporation.
Mm-hmm.
We are the economic development agency for the city of Norwich here in Connecticut. And so it's a brainchild. It's a unique, rare animal, I guess you could call it. And we exist kind of in a strange place, right? And in a world of shared resource spaces. That's what Foundry 66 is. We are a shared resource facility. You can have pure co-working, which is sort of cold and clinical and
it sounds it.
Not meant for community. And then you have on the other end of that scale, you have a pure incubator, which is very metrics driven. It's very schedule driven. It's produce, and pipeline out.
Okay.
And so Foundry sits in the middle of that, where we are more centered around community building, education, support, resource gathering, mentorship. We do a lot of relationship matchmaking, property matchmaking. Lots of different small business support efforts. That might be technical assistance with grant writing. It might be helping someone figure out a portion of their business plan. It might mean holding mental health counseling for business owners. So we get involved in a ton of different things to help support that sense of community and that sense of place.
And I think when you kind of tap into that mental health awareness and wellness portion of things, you're really making that connection in various ways with the community. You know, I feel like it's so necessary right now, and I feel like people are really open to kind of hearing about alternatives, hearing about education, hearing about how they can be a better version of themselves, or what they can bring back to their family to make their family a little more kind of holistic and healthy overall. Are you finding people are drawn to the education portion of the business, or really a good mix with all the different segments of what the business offers?
So I think it's dependent on who you ask in terms of our membership. Our membership is very broad. It's everything from professionals, doctors and lawyers, to creatives, yoga teachers, massage therapists.
Runs the gamut.
We run the gamut. We have some nonprofits. So I think it's dependent upon who you ask. In terms of what people are seeking, right, and what I'm seeing people really respond to, and what they're vocalizing around and being in Foundry, like Foundry's, this is a missing piece, is the community camaraderie, right? People are lonely, people are isolated, and so having a physical space that allows people to work independently, but still build relationships inside of a common space and share, vulnerabilities, share, difficulties, overcome obstacles together, have a support network. That's what people respond to most at Foundry, I think.
I love that. And I love that you get to see all that getting built, from day one when the person comes in and they're like a little mouse. They're like, oh, I don't know what to do. Where do I get this? To, like, hey, how was your weekend? Right? Do you see all those different relationships forming and really because you're housing that? I think that's so beautiful. What a great experience for people to have, and come together, because sometimes when people are just by themselves and they have their solo business and working from home, it's like there's no dog to talk to. Who am I going to talk to, right?
Yeah,
and
very isolating.
sometimes we need to vent and like bounce something off someone else, and I think you provide a great space for that.
Yeah.
Holy cow, I love
Yeah.
that.
Really cool.
Really, really love that. And I love the variety of different businesses. So you probably hear all like different like lingos and different, like, something makes your ears perk up. Like, oh gosh, I never heard that before. Right? I didn't know what that was. That's interesting. You probably get around a lot of, beautiful brains in there,
Yeah.
and hear a lot of different things from them. I love that.
Yeah.
What is the thing that you think surprises you the most, being in that space with everybody, kind of either working independently or, like you said, kind of building those relationships? What do you think surprises you the most that you've seen? How long have you been in this building, in this business, of Foundry 66?
So Foundry itself opened in 2017.
Okay.
And I came on board in 2020, smack dab in the middle
Wow.
of COVID. So
boy, that was fun.
I had a real challenge on my hands of bringing humans into a shared space. So,
oh my gosh, that must have been a challenge.
It was.
Oh,
it was.
Wow.
But we've overcome that challenge. We're now at, I think, about 89 members.
Oh.
So
wow.
when I came in COVID, I think we had 20.
Oh my gosh.
And I think what surprises me the most is the community that gets built from very disparate types of businesses, right? Different personalities, the kind of organic petri dish sort of environment that we're in has really created some interesting friendships, collaborations, partnerships. That's surprising and not surprising at the same time.
Yeah.
And so the lobby, particularly at Foundry, produces some of the most interesting connections I've seen and heard ever. Like
okay.
The guy who has a drone company works with the ice cream shop owner. Like there's some...
Gotta scope out where to deliver the ice cream.
Right. And so there's really interesting connections there. And I think that's what is surprising all of the time, and it's always renewing itself in that way, because we're not meant to be a permanent facility for people. We're meant to be a place where people can lower the barriers to entry, right? That's what it's intended to do. That's what the economic development part of it is that we provide a fail-friendly environment.
Okay.
And so you try things until it's okay. This is
like your launching pad.
Yeah. And it's meant to be, and we joke about it and say, baby's first lease. And it's not even a lease, it's a membership, and so it's month to month, right? We don't require a traditional lease like a regular, office or brick and mortar location. Where month to month we let people figure it out. Right? And
I love that flexibility. People must really thrive there, because they don't feel like it's such a like they're in a straitjacket, like, I gotta do this, I have to be here for this amount of time, I can't look for other, opportunities or even, a permanent space because of this. I think it's such a nice leap pad or launch pad really for people. Gosh, that sounds wonderful. And like, what about event space? Do you provide that for like people that come in? Do people ever need just like a conference room for a day to present to people?
Yeah, we do that all
what
the
does
time.
that look like?
We do that all the time.
Okay. So about how many would that seat? Do you like?
So we have two large conference rooms.
Okay.
The first floor conference room seats up to 24.
Oh, great.
It's currently under renovation.
Okay.
Starting today,
fantastic.
actually, which is really great. With smart whiteboards, touchscreen whiteboards,
nice.
Conference table, full sound, soundproofing, just a new tech upgrade, a room upgrade. We've been there 10 years. It's time to do a refresh on our most popular conference room.
Yeah, okay.
We also have a small conference room that seats 8, also has a smart touchboard whiteboard in there. And then we have a traditional conference room upstairs that seats 16. We can bump it to 24. We just need a little advance notice to do that. And then we have a really unique conference space at Foundry because
do tell.
we know that not everyone sits behind a desk.
Right.
Not everyone has a traditional office job. I wanted to ensure that we had space to accommodate those types of professions.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have something called a multi-purpose room.
Okay.
It is an open...
It's truly multi-purpose.
It is truly, and I'm going to tell you about the purposes that it's been used for. And so it's a big open room.
Mm-hmm.
Has a mirrored wall on one side.
Okay.
It's just open. It's just a big open space. And so we have yoga on site almost every day. One of our members is a yoga teacher.
Jeez.
So we have yoga on site every day. We have a couple of individual dance teachers. They'll take small student classes. We've had meditations, we've had drum circles, we've had product photo shoots in there, we've had videos shot in there.
Maybe a Reiki circle in there.
Maybe a Reiki circle in there. We've had customer appreciation events in there because it's an open space and yet it's enclosed. You can still have events and trainings and physical requirements met within that kind of space. And so
that's amazing. That is really amazing because sometimes people are just trying some things out or want to just do a workshop once a month or something like that. That is ideal. That's really good to know. I'll definitely be passing that information along to other people too, because a lot of times people want to collaborate, but they're like, wait, we don't have a space because neither one of us are housed in a brick and mortar. So where should we go? How should we do this? How can we present it? So this seems like a great opportunity for that. Wow.
We also host events in our lobby as well when we need a larger space or we want something with a little bit of seating. So we'll do events like a Wine Down Wednesday, which is wine on Wednesdays.
I'll be there.
And we chill out.
It's like you have like high top tables and people to stand. Oh yeah, I love that.
We have high top tables. We have little seating areas where people can sit. We play music. We have food. We have a glass or two of wine. You meet new people. You make new connections.
Wine Down Wednesday.
We do a Wine Down Wednesday. We've done lots of. We've done vendor events in there. We've done access to capital events in there where we have outside organizations come in and businesses can come meet SAMA, meet the folks from the SBA, meet other banking officials, learn about other programs that are outside of Foundry, and so we kind of bring them all to our house and let people learn and connect.
And get the opportunities that they otherwise either wouldn't know about or could easily be overlooked or maybe they need help with something that they are interested in. To your point about having grants and grant writing help and all of that. That's amazing. I know people get really just a little baffled by all the technicality for a lot of different components for grant writing. I know people are just like, they hear it and they're like, nope. So that's fantastic. So prior to 2017, what were you doing, Mary?
So I have a very winding, twisty career history. So prior to Foundry and NCDC, I owned and operated automotive repair facilities. And that was quite an experience. I did that for about 15 years and wildly successful, right? Like great.
I wouldn't expect anything else.
Took it from, a couple $100,000 a year to several million.
Wow.
And it was one of the greatest learning opportunities of my life. And it's very challenging to be in an industry that people don't like, they don't trust.
Right.
For an item that they don't want to spend money on.
Yes, but an item that's necessary.
But it's
we all need it.
critical to their lives in so many ways.
Yeah.
And so if you can be successful in that arena, I feel like you can be successful anywhere. Right? It really prepares you for anything and everything. Because you learn soup to nuts.
Literally.
Literally, a lot of nuts.
A lot of nuts.
Yeah.
So, and how did that come to be? A lot of times people have this in their family, and they pass, their parents pass it down to whoever, and but that's not necessarily what happened in your case, right? Which is even more fascinating to me. Yeah.
So prior to the automotive, I had worked for the Department of Defense and IT very early. I was a young hire for the U.S. government, and had a team of people very early
Mhm.
in life. I left there, I worked for a international robotics manufacturer.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
wow.
Doing,
Wow.
I worked in their sales department, their inside sales department, and got to work with our reps in the Midwest, the West, the Southwest, and our Japan office. And that was cool. That was fun.
Japan. Did you get to travel to any of the places, or did you have to be in person anywhere, or how did that work?
I had to stay in Rhode Island.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, hey, Rhode Island's a great state.
But
I love
it's
Rhode Island.
beautiful. Yeah, I love Rhode Island. But I think for me, one of the greatest things was I was Riley-san. And that was a huge, huge honor, especially as a woman, because that wasn't something that was normal. And so we had great working relationships over there. I learned a lot about quality control and process improvement, really great kind of corporate experience to take into my future roles, right?
Yeah,
and that was really the benefit there, and that was really interesting. And at some point I said, okay, well, I have never been one to say, oh, what's my 5-year plan? My version of that is more along the lines of what haven't I done and what skill do I want to explore? And so that really determines the choices that I make and how I pursue what's next for me.
How you navigate things. That's such a great way to look at it versus like, in 5 years I'm going to do this and I want to accomplish this. It's like, no, like there's another perspective and another way to look at things, which I think, to your point, having those experiences allowed you to expand your awareness and expand how you looked at things and how you perceive things for your own personal growth, but also what really benefits other people as well, like the automotive business. Like you're like taking the things you've learned and applying it here, but just a little differently. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. Yeah, I love that.
And that's, I've never been one to kind of ascribe to other people's versions of what's normal or right or true. That's not for me.
Oh, I understand that.
That's not for me. And so it's always been a self-created path. And so after the corporate experience, I went in a totally different direction. I worked for a small business. He was a nutritionist and naturopath.
Okay.
And so I did that for a little bit. That was a tougher one for me in terms of the working relationship, because I'm not a fan of micromanagement, and so that didn't really.
I can imagine.
I was like, I'm cranking along here. I don't need that.
Give me space. Let me do my thing, and if I need help, I'll ask.
But it was really great in terms of working and learning with people, right, and personalities, especially when someone's unwell,
right,
and building empathy and compassion, and that was the great takeaway from that. And so when I decided, okay, you know what, I think I'm done with this, I took a summer off.
Like sabbatical kind of?
Yeah. And I've always taken a good chunk of time in between role changes. I make sure to set myself up for that. And I took the whole summer off, and I went to lunch by myself. I read my book. I go kayaking. I go fishing.
You need that,
You need transition time.
Absolutely.
And so I did that, and it kind of got to the end of the summer, and my sister said, "Hey," my sister was working. She was working for automotive parts manufacturer and a distributor.
Okay.
And she said, "Hey, I have a client, and I think you'd be really great." I'm like, I don't want to drive all the way to Norwich. I don't want to drive that far. What's in Norwich? And so she's like, "Come on, Mary. Come on." I'm like,
okay.
Fine. But honestly, it was, one of the best decisions I've ever made. And I owned the business. I did that. I came in as an experienced partner and into ownership. Not a financial partner. And so built that, did that, ran a multi-shop operation. That, kind of fell apart, and that's okay. That was a great experience.
All those things, I think, are building blocks. And again, pulling pieces of the experience and applying it or not applying it, right? In different ways going forward. I think we always take learning experiences with us good, bad, ugly, successful, failures, whatever that looks like, however that is. I always think you take all those things and apply it for your next thing going forward. Yeah.
So that's how I ended up in automotive. I met my husband that way. I got introduced to Norwich that way.
Yeah.
I've met some really wonderful and amazing people that way. And so when it was time to end the automotive portion of my book of life, I said, what do I want to do? How do I want to show up in my next iteration? And so I wanted something meaningful. I wanted something where I could be educating people. I wanted the opportunity to have more community. As a lone female, and for 15 years I was the only woman.
I can't imagine that.
Right, with
I honestly can't imagine that. Yeah. It's like, who do you connect with? Who's your go-to girl? And that, and they're like, wait, there isn't one. How did you navigate that? Because I think that would be a challenge for most women.
Yeah.
That's a good question for me to navigate. Like, I would wonder what I would do. Would I spend all the time on the phone with my girlfriend? Like, what do you think about this? Or how did you, like, what did you do? I don't know. That's interesting.
I have a strong personality, and I think it's a little easier for me because I do have a very
get it done
personality. Get it done.
Right, get it done, girl.
I like to get things done. And so for me, it's almost like I'm setting the standard, and you got to meet me over here. And that was really how I approached it. There were absolutely times when it was difficult, and gender did in fact play a role in some situations.
Oh, absolutely. I believe that 100%.
I generally approached it with expert level knowledge and humor.
Yep.
That was
two great things that you can connect with anybody with, right? I mean, those knowledge you can't take away from, and humor, it's that bridge. It's that kind of fills the gap, right? Yeah, I love that.
So, thankfully I had a colleague that when we had someone that was uncomfortable with me being a woman in automotive, which was unusual, I would say to them, I said, you know what, I just don't have the parts for this job. Do you think you could take care of that?
There's always a way around it, right?
Exactly, and it didn't make the customer feel awkward or anything. And it was enough to say,
I hear you loud and clear, right? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And then inevitably the conversation would say, oh, well, you should talk to Mary. And they would swing it back around, and there's your expert level knowledge in action. And so the colleague and I really worked it out well.
That's fantastic. Is this the one that became your husband?
No. No.
Darn.
But a very, very dear friend.
Very dear, okay.
Very, very dear friend.
I appreciate that. It's those types of kind of working relationships that really are just necessary. I mean, you need that kind of go-to person like that to kind of get your goals met and really satisfy the customer, which I think is really the key to most everything. So, All right. So, leading people, leading teams, leading things, getting things successful. We just had a really good, successful forum at Mohegan Sun with Fresh Connections. And that's awesome. A nice group of women and multi-business owners there as well. And you're leading that. And tell me how you got connected with them, and was this part of your kind of departure from the automotive? Like, how did all that come together? Because I feel like it was just perfect divine timing almost, right?
It was, and that's exactly how it happened. Is I was in that transition period, and if you're from Eastern Connecticut, you more than likely know Lorraine Sanborn.
Oh, absolutely.
She's the governor
fantastic.
Of the Northeast, the Eastern Seaboard, essentially.
Totally. Yeah.
So, Lorraine had put a post up on Facebook one day, and I had met Lorraine through BNI when I was in automotive, and we became fast friends through BNI.
I can understand why.
So when she put this thing up, she was like, "Oh, hey, there's this thing that I do, and it's called Fresh Connections." And I DM'd her, and I'm like, "What is this?" And I thought to myself, I have been soaked in testosterone for a decade and a half, and it's time for some feminine energy in my life. And I have found it to be healing and joyful and supportive and fun, incredible. It's been incredible.
I feel like for you in that scenario, coming from that place, I feel like it was a really soft place for you to land.
Yeah, it was.
I felt like it was like a cushion mattress, like just featherweight and just like
there was
just wrapped it around you.
It was like a warm blanket on a cold day.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I believe it. I'm just getting to know the group, and I feel like it's a warm hug, like every single time, even the very first time. When our friend Stephanie, she wasn't there the very first time I came to the actual meeting itself versus the networking thing we did in December. But and you were there and you welcomed me right in. Like, it was like, I'm like, hello, are you married?
Yeah, hey, hello.
I'm like, who are you? Like, what's happening here? Where do I need to sit? Just tell me. Is there a sign sitting here?
Right. Just come on over here.
So it's been such a great experience. So what has been really the thing that's kind of stuck out to you most? Has it been the sisterhood? Has it been the leading part? Has it been getting out of your comfort zone with anything? Or have you gotten out of your comfort zone with any of these things?
I mean, all of those things.
Yeah,
actually.
okay. Yeah.
And so, I joined Fresh Connections right when I started with Foundry, right? I really wanted to build new networks and build new relationships and have new experiences and push myself, beyond what I was comfortable doing. And so, I can stand up in front of a small group of people and
which you did very well.
Well, thank you.
She's amazing.
And so that's been something that it's snowballed. It's gotten a lot of trouble. Now I'm on a stage at Mohegan, and so I gotta be careful here. I'm gonna be traveling doing this. And so I think for me the most impactful thing has been the supportive nature and the non-judgmental space. Right? That has been so good. And it's a very experimental kind of place.
Yep, I feel the same.
And the wisdom that's there that allows that experiment to blossom, coupling those two things together has been fantastic. I love the Fresh Storm. I don't think, have you seen a Fresh Storm yet?
I have when we were doing the forum, brainstorming for that. Okay. Yeah. I think, well, if that's what I think it is. Okay.
So
then no,
it's similar to
not.
a brainstorm, but it's you bring a problem, an obstacle, an idea, something not fully fleshed out, but a thing. You explain what it is, what you're trying to achieve, what the issues might be or restrictions, and then you have 22 experienced, wisdom-filled, compassionate, thoughtful, sharp, dynamic women
who want the best benefit for you.
Exactly, that see you, understand, know about your business, and they give you all of this incredible insight and their perceptions and potential stumbling blocks and all of those things worked into this brainstorming session. Chef's kiss.
I agree with you on all those points of the comfortability with being in your real pushing yourself and having it be okay regardless of how it looks.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like it's like there's no egg on anyone's face there, regardless of, if you're like, oh crap, that's not what I meant to say, or oof, I forgot this, or and they're like, okay, keep going.
Yep.
I feel like it's just so it's really a great place to test out a lot of things, and I love and testing out a lot of things really comes along with what you're describing here with putting things out there. And if people are like, no, that won't work because of, and you're like, oh, I never thought of that.
Exactly.
It saves you from all the other work that you would potentially keep hours of doing this and not only to find that out later, right? I think that's such a benefit for everybody.
It is.
Yeah. I love the group very much. It's been I will drive an hour and 15 minutes to come for an hour to drive an hour and 15 minutes
it's that good.
So it's that good. Yeah, truly. I'm very fortunate. I feel very humbled to be a part of that and welcomed in there so much. And so you have been president for how long of Fresh Connections?
So Fresh Connections has been in existence for 16 years. Anne-Marie Foster and Lorraine started this together way back, and they had multiple branches at some point, and chapters, etc. And then it kind of naturally recompressed and evolved, COVID and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And I came in right at the COVID time when we were still doing Zoom stuff. And it was a little bit more focused on referrals and more of a networking group. And our president at the time, we didn't have a board of directors, we weren't a 501c3, we were just a networking group. And so when we first came up with the idea to do the forum 4 years ago, we weren't able to take donations and sponsorships because we were not a 501c3. And so we said, let's explore what that might look like. Let's survey our membership, find out why they're in the group, what really matters to them, what should our focus be. You know, really putting it back to the members to say, what do you want? How can we make this into a thing that serves all of us in the best ways possible?
Right.
And so that process and that exercise really resulted in, let's be a 501c3, and our focus is education and support and an environment where people can grow and thrive, because that's what was already happening without the formal designations. And so this really allowed us to create the structure that supports that in the long term and allows us to take in funding and apply for grants and do those kinds of things so we can continue to grow and serve Southeastern Connecticut. So that didn't happen until 2020, late 2024 was when we had our first actual election for board of directors.
Wow.
And
so fancy.
Christy Tupper had been our president for umpteen million years prior to me taking on, and she said it's time for somebody else. I've been doing this a long time, and it was a little bit like herding kittens because there was no structure, there was no board, she didn't have that kind of support, and she did an absolutely incredible, amazing job at keeping this organization going and pushing us to this place, right? And recognizing the organization needed that structure. And so I became president in January of 2025. We spent the entire first year, doing structural work. Creating
getting some bones and foundation,
some
kind of some teeth and
some understanding, some role descriptions, things like that. So people have an expectation of what time commitments look like. What are the skills that are really critical to this role, and those kinds of things. Having an employee handbook that didn't read like a punishment manual.
That's always helpful.
And so having, best practices put in place, having a clear membership funnel and process and intake and creating forms and doing those kinds of things. And so that took up 2025. And then by the time we really got to the end of that, it was beginning of 26, and we had to plan the forum. So we've spent the board this year was the forum planning committee as a whole. And so now we're beyond the forum, and we're moving into some of our other committee structure work. Our next meeting will have some information about education, and we're polling members. We're working together to develop education programming that's desired, impactful, and structured, so people can get the maximum benefit out of it.
I love that. I love the history. I love the progression. Everything always evolves. And Christy's fantastic. We met last week. We met last week and just had coffee and just kind of got to know each other. And actually, she brought a friend of hers from Pennsylvania. She was delightful. So we had a nice one-on-one. So that was great. Yeah. So Mary, anything you want to share, kind of as we depart, and any inspiring words, any kind of words of wisdom, or any what are some things that people can think of when they think of your business, Foundry 66, when they think of Fresh Connections, when they think of you and Mary Riley, what are they gonna think? What's the first thing that you want them to think of?
Oh, she's asking me the tough question.
Well, it's the last one, so figured it'd be a good one.
I think what I would want people to know, right? If someone said, "Hey, you should talk to Mary," it's that I'm going to listen, that I'm going to do my very best to try to help you get to where you're going. That's a very common phrase that I use. Is it's not about me, it's about you.
Mm-hmm.
So let's assess. Mm-hmm. Let's figure out what you want to accomplish. Let's see where you're at. Where do you want to go, and how do we get there? And whether that's in business, in your small business journey, whether that's I have a friend who's having a problem, if it's a member at Fresh Connections that's stuck on something, I think being able to provide perspective for people, information or resources, it's kind of a jam.
Perfect. Sounds like what everybody needs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really, really does.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, I'll refer them to Mary. Mary, tell us about your information. How do people get in touch with you? How do people find out more about Foundry 66 and what, any details besides having to call you? Is there your website,
sure,
social media, anything that you can drive people to investigate?
Sure.
Yeah.
So we're located in historic downtown Norwich, beautiful historic downtown
Gorgeous,
Norwich.
Gorgeous, yeah.
At 66 Franklin Street. And you can reach us on the web at foundry66.com or askncdc.com. Okay. Either one.
And 66 as in the number, not
66.
Okay.
The digits.
Digits, yeah.
The digits not spelled out.
Yep. Just for clarification.
It's a great question. And so my phone number is published across Eastern Connecticut, and you can probably find it in a bathroom stall somewhere. For business advice, call Mary.
Yes.
It's 860-884-3675. Or you can always reach me at my email, mary@askncdc.com. But I do encourage people to come by, visit, see the facility.
Yeah.
The energy in the space is just amazing.
I'm all about the energy, you know
so
that.
good.
Yeah,
I love first day I walked in there, I was like, this place has good vibes.
Oh yeah, and you feel it right away.
You
right?
do.
Yeah, you feel it right away.
So that's where we're at. That's how you can get to us. Get involved in Norwich. We're an amazing city. We have a wonderful, amazing population there.
I agree. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's everything is right there in walking distance. Yeah, you can't ask for anything more.
Yeah,
it's perfect location.
History and a harbor. We have music. We have culture.
Yeah, great food right around there.
Art and architecture. We have everything you need. I mean, it's a wonderful little city.
Wonderful. Perfect.
Yes.
All right, Mary. Well, thanks so much.
I
appreciate this.
It's been so much fun.
This has been a great time. I appreciate you taking the time today. Okay, everyone. Mary Riley, Foundry 66. Thank you.